There's not that many brands that I've never tried. So when my friend and fellow boothead Yuli suggested that I check out this Mexican brand of football boots that was supposedly creating this fantastic value for money option, well, I did what any boothead would do. I jumped at the chance and I bought a pair. What's up guys, my name is James and welcome to BootWizard Boot Reviews. Today we are going to be looking at the Charly PFX Gignac and working out if this is actually one of the best value for money options on the market. Is it better than what you're going to pay for a top-end elite level boot? Is it better than what you're going to pay for maybe a pro level boot? It's right in those price brackets at $120 US. In short, is it any good? Should you buy a pair? Let's find out. Remember to like the video, get subscribed to the channel, and if you can help us, please hit the link down in the top comment for my Patreon, patreon.com/BootWizard. And if you do want to pick up a pair of these, you can also hit the link for that there as well, and that does also help the channel. Let's jump straight into it. We are going to get into the upper in just a second, but firstly, let's just take a look at the presentation. So these actually come in a really nice box with the Gignac logo and the Charly logo just here, and it's just really well presented, especially for a $120 boot. Inside, you get this little card. There's a couple of extra little stickers in here as well. The Gignac sticker and also the Charly sticker. Just nice little additions that you don't normally get. Now, there's no string bag or anything in here, but again, for $120, I'm not really expecting that. So the upper, you could be forgiven for thinking that this was actually a knitted football boot. It is not. This is a synthetic football boot which has kind of an overlay pressed into it, and it actually makes all of the different elements, this different areas around the boot, feel like they're knit because of the different texture that runs through it. Like, you could have really convinced me that this was a knit boot on first impression. But it is textured synthetic, and it's not super soft, but it's also not crazy stiff, but it is slightly on the thick side. That's because of the multiple kind of layers of material and also the liner that's on the inside, which I have to say, for a boot at this price point, the liner, especially in the front 2/3 of the boot, is actually a really fantastic synthetic microfiber, and I like it a lot. The boot is a full one-piece construction, and it is genuinely pretty seamless. Of course, you can see where the seams are. They're covered over by this seam tape that runs around the boot, but it feels seamless on the inside, it feels seamless on the outside, and that's a really nice piece of construction. It feels a lot more premium than what you might expect for the price point, and that applies to both the upper materials and the way that this one piece is put together. If I was going to criticize any area for feeling slightly less premium, it would be the material that they've used through this central lacing system and round into this kind of collar area here. It's not terrible, but it's certainly not the most premium thing you're ever going to feel. It's also not super stretchy, but that's actually a good thing because it means that the lockdown in the boot, again, is better than the price point might allude to. You'd normally expect, once you're getting down to these kind of price points, that you start to lose a little bit of lockdown, a little bit of responsiveness, and compared to most boots at this price point, this does a better job in both of those areas. Deep lacing system down the center with a material that's not overly stretchy and an upper that is okay, slightly stiff and slightly thicker, but that leads to quite a nice responsive sensation out of the upper. I don't feel my foot move around in this a lot. Overall, for the price that you're looking at for the upper on this boot, it feels a lot more premium than you would expect, and it's pretty impressive, even down to that knit style texturing that I mentioned, which actually does help in wet weather conditions. You get this big protector that runs around the toe box here, and I do have to say that the durability on this boot, it might be because of that slightly thicker upper, the durability seems like it would be good. Now, I've used these for a good few hours. I've been out on the pitch with me many, many times, and I've not had any durability problems, but I can't tell you how long they're gonna last over a whole season. It's just not possible. But they feel well made and they feel sturdy, and for a boot at $120, that's a pretty big statement to be able to make. And so far, so good, pretty impressive. Flipping around onto the Soleplate, we get something that will probably look very familiar to a lot of you, particularly the real boot heads among us. Take a guess. I'm gonna leave the comments open. Go for it. Have a guess. What do you think that this is from? We'll give you 5 seconds.
One eternity later.
That is right. This Soleplate is taken from the Vapor 11. Well, just older style Vapors. It's not necessarily the 11. The 11 just happens to be what I have here. And if we put these side by side, you can see they are absolutely identical. Now, from a brand that's trying to make a budget boot and keep costs low, this actually might be a stroke of genius. You take something that's already made, something that you can pre-buy basically, you haven't designed your own tooling here, and you put it on your boot. You know it works, you know it's good, you know people like it, and there you go. It's done. It keeps your costs down. It's very smart. And yes, it is good. Now, of course, this is the AG Pro plate from some of those older non-split sole Nike Elite level models, which is exactly what we've got here. The only difference is being that on these AG Pro here, the studs are slightly more hollow and they do have that kind of rubber tip that Nike tended to put on their AG models. You don't get that here. It's a little bit more basic and it's a little bit more like what you might have got from a takedown version of the Vapors, but it's still very, very good and still a decent option for FG or AG pitches, which when you're in a value for money kind of category can't be a bad thing, because you get one pair of boots that's going to work for FG and AG. You don't have to buy 2 pairs of boots. It's all pretty smart. In terms of the actual performance, it is pretty decent. It is solid enough through the heel and the midfoot to give you decent responsiveness, to make you feel nice and secure there, not overly flexible, which is good because it seems every Soleplate I've picked up recently has been very flexible. And then in the toe box area, in the forefoot, you get a good amount of flex there. It's nice. It's nothing absolutely fantastic. You're not going to get incredible spring back or anything like that, but it does a very good job and it's very competitive at this price point. The studs themselves, pretty much all conical, a couple of bladed studs here and there for a little bit of extra aggression, but it's great for a lot of surfaces and it's very hard to criticize, and I think it works with the boot really, really nicely. You can sit here and call it a rip-off if you like, because hey, but it's a smart way of being able to keep the costs down and produce a high quality boot, and it absolutely works, and I'm not going to get down on them for that. It's another win, and I think nice job. Okay, let's do weight. These are in a US size 8, which is the regular weight that I would normally pick up. Pop them on the scales, and they come in at 239 grams. Now, that is not a lightweight football boot. In actual fact, it's on the upper end of weight that you would expect to get from most football boots these days, even takedown models. Now, I don't think it's overly heavy. I don't think it's unnecessarily heavy, and I don't think there's any real need for them to shave off a ton of weight to make it competitive. But if you do want a super lightweight football boot, then this isn't a boot that you should consider because it's just not that light. But I think this idea of a striker's boot designed for a dynamic striker like Gignac, I don't think is a bad thing at all, and I'm not against it. I think this is a solid boot, and that's a really good way of describing it when you consider the materials and the weight. Heavier than most, but still not a deal breaker for me. Okay, value for money, a super important topic for a boot priced at $120 because it really is looking to compete in a value for money category. People who aren't going to go out and buy that elite level boot at $200-300, they want something that is that little bit cheaper and is going to save them some money. They want value for money. So where does it sit compared to what's around it? Well, at $120, this is coming in cheaper than most things you're going to be able to go and pick up from Nike, Adidas, Puma in terms of their top tier takedowns. So I'm talking 0.2s and pros here. And then it's even cheaper than top end you're going to pick up from Umbro, from Lotto. So it really is in competition there in between, say, academy and pro level boots. So is it better than those boots? Well, I'm pretty happy to sit here and say that this is better than pretty much any academy or 0.3 level boot you can go and pick up. And then in terms of versus 0.2 and pro level boots, it also would beat most of those. It's right in that kind of range. So if you're on a budget and you're looking for a cheap, high quality football boot, this is definitely something you should consider. However, don't expect to be picking up something that's going to replicate the quality of what you're going to pick up from an elite plus level or 0.1 level boot from Adidas. What you're getting here is something that is a little bit different, maybe has a little bit better build quality, and really offers a fantastic boot at a budget price that definitely competes with all Nike Pro and Adidas 0.2 level models. I would be comfortable in going as far as saying that this is on the same level as pretty much any Nike Pro and any Adidas 0.2 boot that you could put it up against. You've obviously got preferences and bits and pieces here and there, but it's right in there, and it's also cheaper than pretty much all of those boots as well. And I'm sure because they're a less popular brand, you'll be able to pick them up on sale. It's a win-win. And then when you consider that you get like the chrome sole plate, okay, it's not the highest quality chrome you're ever going to come across. Like you can actually see where mine's coming off here already. When you compare it to like Puma chrome, for example, it's not quite as impressive. Although, we're going completely off topic here, the fact that there's no color underneath means that I think when this starts to come off completely, you actually be able to see through it straight into the bottom of the boot, which might be a very cool thing to happen. The colorways that are available are amazing. They have a pink, a chrome, the white and gold. Everything that they have released looks incredible on these boots. Like they know what colors sell and they've stuck to that. So a fantastic looking boot in my opinion, a real good performer, something that feels durable and can definitely compete with anything that's in the same price bracket as it. So can I recommend it for the price? Yes. Fit and comfort, what size should you buy? Nice and simple, these are a true to size football boot. Get your regular size. I have my US 8 here and the fit is actually pretty bang on. I can't complain about the length in these at all. In terms of the width, there is a reasonable amount of width through these, but there's not a lot of stretch in the opening to get your foot in, and there's not a whole heap of stretch in the material or through the central lacing system, well, central lacing portion where the tongue would normally be either. So if you do have a crazy wide foot, you might struggle a little bit, especially getting them on, but there's plenty of width in here for most people, especially through the midfoot. It's definitely that bit tighter through the forefoot. And again, there's not a huge amount of stretch here just because of the way they're constructed. Again, it feels quite well put together. I've already mentioned that the inner liner is super premium and it does lead to a nice, comfortable feeling boot. And something they have done, which I was very impressed by, is we've got this insole. Now, you might be thinking, well, insole's an insole, but they've actually gone to, I think, some good lengths here to try and give you a really high quality insole. It's lightweight, but just the way that it's constructed with these hexagonal pattern that runs all the way through it, it's much more springy and responsive and, well, just straight up comfortable when you compare it to most other insoles around this price bracket. So I'm pretty impressed with that. The top is a mesh, it's nothing spectacular. Your foot isn't gonna get held on by anything like, you know, a Puma Nano Grip Tech, but it's not bad and the extra comfort is more than welcome. The only place that I am going to criticize the boot a little bit is in the heel. Now, you do have to take into account different foot shapes. people respond differently to different boots. For me, I don't particularly like the heel shape here. Now, this isn't because the heel counter is shallow. Thankfully, you get a nice deep, nice solid heel counter that does grip onto your heel, but the shape just doesn't really work for me. It's kind of a bit narrow, and even though there is padding in the back there, it just doesn't lead to a comfortable feeling in the heel for me. Then to top that off, the material that they've used in the heel here, so this heel liner, is actually far less premium than the rest of the microfiber liner that's running through the rest of the boot. It's a much more silky, much more slippy material, if I'm being honest. And I do find that, or I did find at least when I first was wearing these, there's definitely a little bit of heel slippage. So if I was going to change anything about this boot, I would probably change the material they've used to create the heel padding, the heel liner, and maybe the heel shape, but as I say, that could just be me. Overall, it's comfortable, it's well put together, and the heel is the only thing that I don't really love. You're looking for something a little bit different and you are on a budget, the Charly PFX Gignac should definitely be on your list. If you want a copper pair, do hit the link in the top comment down in my description. And if you want some more information, feel free to message me or drop over to my guy Yuli's Instagram page. I will leave a link up in the description, and also I'll have it pop up on the screen now, like wizard magic. Head over and ask him some questions as well. He's got 2 colorways of these. He really, really loves them, and I can see why. Value for money here is absolutely top notch. Do remember to like the video, get subscribed to the channel, and if you can help me out, please head to patreon.com/BootWizard. It is much appreciated. Have a good one, and we'll see you soon.